And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning on KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you all for joining us. College of Western Idaho. I was just saying it's perfect, Austin. Thank you. Like if I give you a thumbs up, then no. Thumbs up is good. All right. Enough of the inside stuff. We're waiting for Michael Doherty. We will talk to him. Also, we'll talk to some of our great friends here at the College of Western Idaho. Wonderful curriculum here, affordable prices. When we're talking about this program here, promoting our school, securing our future, College of Western Idaho is the poster person for that when we're talking about arming yourself with education and doing it in an affordable manner. One of our favorite places to come here, promoting our schools, securing our future, thanks to our friends at CapEd Credit Union, T Mazda Subaru, and Grade Power Learning, where they power your education, conveniently located in Meridian, Idaho. A man who knows all about education. He is Michael Doherty. Joining us now, our great friend, the devil inside the Beltway, the shocking expose of the U.S. government's surveillance and overreach into cybersecurity, medicine, and small business. Michael, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Well, I wish I would have bought that Facebook stock when it was about $29.
Well, you know, people are addicted. Don't believe that the government will bring someone down and hold them accountable. It's all theater.
Now, I have something, a little fastball for you, which is like slow-pitch softball, but for me it's my version of a fastball. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound really
I don't know what's coming.
I was reading this month's Rolling Stone, of course, that bastion of conservative ideals, and they had Dwayne Johnson on the cover, and of course, conservative flamethrower Matt Taibbi or whomever, who's one of the most leftist people around, wrote an extensive piece on Facebook. And he talked about the internet and everything else. And really in the piece, it was amazing that Facebook, in partnership with the government, really, we don't need 1984 because we just readily turn over everything. And, whether it's, what we buy at the supermarket or who we've talked to last week, the government pretty much knows everything thanks to this voluntary thing called Facebook.
On individuals, sure. On governments, it defines everything. Certainly on individuals, people don't really understand. If they went back and just spun back your own feed over the past, go see what you posted 3 years ago and look through it and try to piece things together, or go look at someone else's and try to figure things out. You realize you can figure out where they live, where they eat, if they travel, who they hang with. There's all these things you can piece together, and people don't understand. It's not just putting the data in. It's also putting the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together. And that's what he means. So I see his point on certain individuals, but I don't think Russia has a Facebook page. It's going to give us a lot of information that we want to know about. But I get his drift.
Look, I follow Putin. I know what he's up to.
I've seen him riding that horse in the creek with his shirt off. I know he works out.
Yeah. I know he does, bicep curls for buys, but anyway, Michael Doherty joining us here. Let's talk a little bit about Roger Stone and this piece in the New York Times last week, and Michael Cohen and the president. Your thoughts as someone who covers Washington and cybersecurity, but more importantly, what's going on in the real body politic here?
Well, everyone's kind of scratching their head on this one, quite frankly, because it's like, is this Christmas? I mean, the first thing that happened when the DNC was notified that their servers might have been compromised was that they were like, oh, thank you for the information. No, don't come over. When the FBI called, they wouldn't give them the servers. That's probably, I don't know. I guess they didn't want people to see their browsing history and what they were looking at. So, but then they hired CrowdStrike to put out some report, which then they had to sort of change. So it's ironic that now they're suing so that there's going to be discovery and everything's laid bare, and then they're immediately told preserve the servers because, look, they're the ones that have taken this whole narrative. You've got Russia that only comes up after Trump wins. And you've got them not letting people see the servers. This piggybacks right with Hillary's emails. They've been told now to preserve everything, and they have a history of lying about technology and not letting everyone see their stuff. So it's just a head scratcher as to why they're doing this. Maybe they just think they'll raise money off it, or they can kick the can down the road and make this narrative go longer. But it's going to be fascinating when it gets to court.
Michael Cohen would like the same thing, Michael Dougherty, and Paul Manafort. I mean, the FBI just breaks in, gets their stuff. They didn't have the option of saying, no, we're not going to turn over anything to you. Thanks for the notifications. Is this a double standard?
Well, one was a hack and the other was not under criminal investigation. So, although the other, it's a double standard, but, what we're plainly seeing here is, I think the American public is just watching this theater play out where and the FBI is getting reputationally harmed because they're seeing selective perception of rights. Everyone thinks they deserve due process, and the FBI seems to be going after you when they think you're guilty, breaking the rules, and really just putting a squeeze on you and trying to trip you up so they can get you on something so that you settle before they have to actually go to a judge and have an Article III court decide if they have a case or not. I mean, this is the problem, is when you see Washington-type political pressure happen within a legal body of we're just going to come after you and squeeze. It's very Clinton-esque, isn't it? And to see that happen within the FBI and the Justice Department is really disturbing, whether you think the guy's guilty or not.
Indeed. Michael Dougherty joining us here. Let's talk a little bit about where do we go from here with this Russia thing and this Robert Mueller thing. Do you think Robert Mueller's credible?
I think no. I mean, I don't, but I don't know if that matters because there's tons of people in Washington. I mean, I think this the big macro. The lesson on this is that people are really learning now in a more detailed manner what people say when they talk about the swamp. I mean, you have bureaucrats with power that get to play sort of, the Sopranos go to Washington type rules and get away with it without accountability. I mean, this is, it's just another story. They give the face to what people say when they say the swamp.
The swamp, indeed. Michael Dougherty joining us here. So, Michael, when we take a look at Amazon, could the government really break up Amazon, considering they're getting into the grocery business, the fitness business, the drone business? And we see even our local stores now all of a sudden doing deliveries, doing same-day deliveries. You can pay extra and you get it within a couple of hours. Amazon, good or bad?
Well, it's a mixed bag. I mean, the problem with all these megas is they get really rich and they decide to get into politics and tell us how to live our lives and who we should be. So when he buys the Washington Post, I get nervous. When Facebook starts filtering opinions, I mean, these people get mega wealthy, and then I think they go to church and go, what's the meaning of it all, God? Why did I have all this good fortune? Oh, I guess I'll give back by telling people how to live their lives and think and be. So that's how I'll bring meaning to my money, because a lot of these people we're discovering are nothing more than data brokers. And they take our stuff and then they twist it. Now Amazon, it's a double-edged sword. It's certainly a change in dynamic that certainly has helped a lot of people. It's shifted things from the physical. You can't go after antitrust just because it's a revolution in business, but it's a tough one because they certainly are bad. I mean, I'm not defending them. They with what they do with data and market dominance and bullying competitors. I mean, that's how you get them in antitrust. I mean, what they do to industries and how they monopolize things and how they penalize you is really aggressive. Makes Walmart look like a little kitty cat.
Well, speaking of Walmart, though, and we'll end it at this, how Walmart's adjusting. I was at our local Walmart across from the College of Western Idaho this morning. I was walking around, and I looked at my phone. All of a sudden, I was on the Wi-Fi. All of a sudden, it said I could choose from this item. It was fascinating to see. Before, you usually get the, hey, welcome to Walmart Wi-Fi. Would you like to check in? And all of a sudden, it was like Amazon Junior.
but you're physically there.
Yes, in the store.
Yeah, so that's nice, but I mean, the whole question I have is, okay, what information they got about you when you walk in that store?
Right.
So because Amazon's power is going to be, reducing costs because they're not needing brick and mortar, and now they're going to turn Whole Foods into some also distribution areas. It's interesting, Amazon is so 5 steps ahead of everyone else. And that's a double-edged sword with innovation. Is it innovation or antitrust? And, but I know what they did in the publishing world was so punitive and vicious. If you don't play their game, you basically don't get put to the front of the line. And that's where, it's going to be an interesting gig when they create their own main sole platform that people go to, and then they leverage that against you if you don't, use them. Like I know with books, if you don't print with them, they don't treat you the same. And my books, I don't print with Amazon. I'm on Amazon, but I print them through a much better printer because I'm quality conscious. But, my book has always been a much more of a targeted market, so I don't really play the Amazon game too much. But if you don't play the game, people are going to have to go look for you. They're not going to be put in your face. And those are the type of things. And that game is using them to print and using this, And they like to say, well, that's just a bonus for using us. But this is where the issue will be, is same thing with Google, how they position people and things like this. And can the government, deal with that within these private enterprises? But, boy, they play rough. These are not little lambs.
Well, you're not a little lamb either, Michael Dougherty. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
All right, good talking to you, my friend.
Coming up next, more from the College of Western Idaho. Remember, today is Thank You Thursday. Your chance to win a family 4-pack or friendly 4-pack to check out the Boise Music Festival. And you know something? I was just telling Austin and George here, the lineup is, I think it's the best we've ever had. We've got Robin Thicke. We've got Granger Smith. Let's see. No, not Pearl Jam. Baby Bash. Matt Kearney, Parmalee, and Echo Smith, or as I like to call them, Eco Smith. So your chance to win tickets coming up very soon. Listen here, our way of thanking you for listening. You're listening to Kevin Miller from the College of Western Idaho at KIDO Talk Radio. And Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. Do want to thank our friends at Great Power Learning. Remember, power your education. Get free ACT, SAT testing, test prep from Great Power Learning Center just by simply going to KIDOTalkRadio.com and writing a 100-word essay on why education is important to you. And don't forget, coming up, your chance to win tickets to the Boise Music Festival. Listen for the cue to call coming up very, very soon on Thank You Thursdays. Jake Campton joining us from the College of Western Idaho. Jake, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you today?
I am living the dream. Now, you, in fact, are the power sports instructor here. Tell us a little bit about what you do. That seems self-explanatory, but...
I am one of the power sports and small engine repair instructors here at CWI, so we have quite a unique program here. We offer students the ability to come in and get their hands dirty working on handheld power equipment all the way up to side-by-sides and big recreational equipment that you see running around out in the desert and stuff here locally.
Sure. I bet business is good because everybody's running around in the desert, whether that or the snowmobiles. We see it all the time at our friends at Ultra Touch Car Wash, where small engines come in because they have the non-ethanol fuel.
Yep, and that's a big thing for us. I mean, a lot of our students get into the industry. That's what they're going to do frequently is carb cleans, basic tune and maintenance because of that ethanol fuel we have here in the valley. A lot of our industry partners are seeing huge growth, like you mentioned before. The market here is booming, construction's booming, and that means the power sports and recreational stuff is booming also. So lots of students, lots of opportunities here in the valley for them to get work and get jobs and have successful careers here in the valley. So.
We've been talking about this quite a lot at KIDO Talk Radio, the trades, and the idea that you can pretty much write your own ticket learning these skills. You instruct these people. You've dedicated your life to it. Tell us a little about the inside of what a career in power sports, maintenance, building could mean.
Yeah, so you figure if you walk through the neighborhood, everybody owns a lawnmower, string trimmer, handheld equipment, right? I mean, everybody has one. Everybody has a yard pretty much. So if you think about all the equipment out there that needs maintenance and service, it's a huge demand. The recreational side, everybody wants to recreate, depending on if the economy's up, down, doesn't really matter. People want to go out and enjoy their weekend. So,
well, normal people, me, I'm watching the Sunday shows. Unfortunately, it's a tough gig, but
there you go.
The normal people, the happy people.
We can put a flat screen TV in your side by side, man. You can enjoy that out in the desert and see some beautiful scenery. So,
well, Jake, you bring up a good point. How has technology changed the power sports business?
Oh, it's evolving greatly daily. So, I mean, a lot of the equipment now is diagnosed either web-based or computer-based with PC links, digital links, and that's across the board. Automotive, power sports, a lot of that stuff is trending in that direction. So we're trying to incorporate that more with some new curriculum, new industry partners here at CWI. We brought on Polaris, BRP, Bombardier Recreational Products. Harley-Davidson has kind of got a thing going with us now, so we're going to expose students to that new technology and some stuff they haven't seen before. So,
well, I was just imagining if you can figure out how to fix a Harley, that's a pretty big deal.
It's a pretty big legacy brand here in the United States, so they've seen some growing pains recently in the economy. They're kind of doing some shifting, but we're very fortunate to have those guys say, hey, we want students to see it, touch it, feel it, and be able to repair it. So,
well, that says a lot about your program that these people are buying in.
It does. We've gone kind of through a little bit of a restructure here, but it's it's going to be for the better, I think. Getting people excited about it and realizing that this program's here. A lot of people don't even know we exist, and they need to come out and
now
walk
wait a
through the
minute.
building.
What do you mean that you don't know? People don't know. I mean,
we have people come through here a lot. With our PACE event we just had recently, people are coming through and they don't know this facility's out here in Nampa. Like, I highly encourage people to come out and walk through our building and see what we have to offer.
Now, look, now we're going to get contentious here in a minute. First, traffic and weather together at KIDO. And we continue on here at the College of Western Idaho. Jake Hampton with us, power sports instructor. See, I find it difficult that people don't automatically come here all the time because you're growing, you're building campuses, and, I mean, the facility here, the one across the street, is just outstanding. You're saying that people still don't know the magic of CWI?
The magic is here for sure. The CTE campus specifically is where we're at today, right next to Walmart out here in Nampa behind the Auto Center. It's a beautiful facility with lots of high-end, nice equipment. The potential we have needs to be seen by everybody in the Valley, in my opinion. We encourage, high schoolers, college students, anybody who's out and about to swing on by. I have an open-door policy with our program here at the Power Sports and Small Engine Repair. I want to showcase what we have here and, let people in on the secret. So, I mean, that's a big deal for us, for sure.
Tell us a little bit more about your program. So we're talking, just every type of repair from the smallest of the engine to the largest. What do you guys work on?
Yep. So, like I said, we start with the string trimmer handheld stuff you can get at your big box, home improvement store, all the way up to, motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs, a little bit of watercraft stuff. And we have local dealership partners. So they kick us a lot of work and set up and new build stuff so we can help them out, get our students seeing, touching, feeling some of the new stuff coming out. So that's a big deal also. All my industry partners, all our industry partners here locally, they need employees and they need trained students ready to go to work. So quite a few of our students currently have jobs in industry, so they spend half the day with us, and then they go spend their afternoons at local dealerships.
So it's a good place, let's say, whether you're out of high school, been out of high school for a while, or looking for maybe a second career or a skill to learn in addition to what you're doing. It'd be a great, not only full-time job, but a part-time job you could volunteer to shop on the side. Yeah,
for sure. Power sports is a cool segment.
For pay. Not volunteer. I want
to
clarify.
Internship, I think, is what you're talking about there. We can arrange that, too. People are excited about power sports, and that's what we want. If you want to work in our industry, you want to be the guy out riding your motorcycle. You want to be the guy snowmobiling on the weekends.
I've seen those people on videos.
Right. They are on videos. It's a pretty big social media deal, for sure.
Jake, appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Have a great day. Appreciate you.
Thank you. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio, College of Western Idaho. Let's find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Maggie. All right, we've got a lot going on in this segment. Thank you for joining us. Do want to thank our friends at Great Power Learning. Is Tim in Emmett still with us here. He wanted to talk about CWI. If he is, we'd love to talk to him before Rachel Sutherland jumps on. If not, we'll move on. Tim, are you there? Probably I let Tim go too long. So we'll go to Rachel Sutherland, who joins us from Fox News Radio on Capitol Hill. Rachel, you're no Tim, but good to have you with us this morning.
Thanks, Kevin. Good to be with you.
Boy, never a dull moment. Let's take a look at the new Fox polls on President Trump's job ratings versus Congress's ratings versus the economy ratings. That's a lot of ratings.
There's a lot of ratings, and one thing that stood out to me is the president's approval rating is hovering about where it has been at 44%. Interestingly, he has a higher approval rating than Robert Mueller, James Comey, or Congress, which really shouldn't be any surprise. Robert Mueller's around 39%, James Comey 35%, Congress 19%. They are always in the bottom of the basement. So the president getting pretty good marks when it comes to North Korea. People seem to like what he's doing there, not so much on Syria. Interestingly, 61% of those who responded said that they approved of the airstrikes on Syria, but then the same 60% also said you should probably seek the authorization of Congress. So a lot of interesting questions. One of them that stuck out to me was whether or not that people view Washington insiders as being kind of out of touch. And they said, a full amount of them said that they feel like people in Washington, lawmakers, leaders, look down on them and don't understand them, don't identify with them.
Well, I'm wondering if they'd throw Kanye in because he's blowing up Twitter with the president.
He really is. There was no Kanye in this polling. I don't know why. I mean, I don't get to pick the questions.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And then on one hand, you have to love just the nature of politics as a seasoned reporter as you are, Rachel, that on one hand, Kanye and Kim aren't exactly hip with the GOP culture, but hey, they say something good about Donald. Hey, Kanye! Hey, Kim! Woohoo!
I think, yeah, when you see these people who are spotted, especially during the transition, this wild bunch of people were spotted at Trump Tower. I think Kanye might have been there, but definitely, Al Gore, just different folks that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, it's funny. Politics, as they say, is really strange bedfellows, right?
It can be, and people can change their minds about things pretty quick, where they'll be enemies, arch enemies one week, and next week it's all better. And particularly President Trump seems to have that MO. It's almost like with some people, he gets into a schoolyard fight, and you know how they are, then they're rolling and tumbling, and then next week they're best friends again.
Yes, and he's the president of the United States.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm. Rachel, anything else we should be looking out for as we approach the end of the week and the wild weekend? I don't know about you, but the president woke me up over the weekend with the massive amount of overnight tweets.
Yeah, I don't know how much tweeting he'll be doing. It's hard to predict all of that, but I think the thing to watch out for today here in Washington is the confirmation of CIA Director Mike Pompeo to be Secretary of State. It looks like they have Democrats that are going to be voting for that confirmation, so it looks like he's going to win easy confirmation. It wasn't easy getting up to this point, but it should sail right through. And then he'll go to Brussels for a NATO summit tomorrow as Secretary of State and in place well in advance of these talks with North Korea. So this is something definitely be watching out for today.
Rachel, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Our great friend Rachel Sutherland joining us from Fox News Radio. Why don't we do this? We're going to give you a chance to win not one family 4-pack, but 2 family 4-packs. Caller 5 and caller 6 at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You can receive, if you're those callers, you'll receive a family or a friend 4-pack or a total stranger 4-pack to the Boise Music Festival, where we've got the best lineup that we've ever had. Almost 10 years. Can you believe that? 10 years. We've got Robin Thicke, Parma Lee, Baby Bash. Yes, Baby Bash. There we go. I'm very excited about this. It's one of my favorite days of the year, and you can go for free simply by listening here. And did you know today that all guests of the Kevin Miller Show at the College of Western Idaho receive a complimentary family 4-pack, just kind of like they do on Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune? We're right there with them. Joining us now is the Assistant Vice President of Economic Development, Christy Rude. Ma'am, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good
to have you with us here at KIDO Talk Radio. See, for me, I'm always studying the College of Western Idaho. What an incredible story. I guess that you have the same challenges that our area does, is managing all the growth.
Absolutely. College of Western Idaho has been on an amazing trajectory, as you know, just from the previous folks on the show. Right now, workforce development, the area that I have the direct oversight with, what we do is we focus on short-term training. And right now our classes are full. I can't offer enough courses in things like HVAC, electrical, plumbing, nursing assistant for folks to get those skills they need to immediately get good paying jobs.
Right. Because we take a look at the trades and the skills, and they're in such high demand.
Absolutely.
And really, that's one of the many purposes of College of Western Idaho, is to give people real-life skills to get real jobs.
Yes, and that's exactly what we're situated here for. We're one of the 6 workforce training centers in the state, and we specifically focus on getting those short-term skills for those students. Right now, we're running about 8,000 students just through our short-term training programs. That's not even, considering that amazing power sports program you just had on earlier.
Oh, we heard about that, yes, with Jake, yes.
Exactly. And we really try to work with our industry partners to find out what skills and competencies and what type of worker they need in the workforce coming to them, and what we can do to be good partners.
That's a challenge, I think, anywhere right now in the Treasure Valley. I think the last time we had this type of growth was 2007, and we're starting to even eclipse that with the housing and the employment. I remember talking to our friend Dave Petzo, where the unemployment rate was like 2% or something in Ada County, which is back in 2007, which was incredible. And we're having people that want their homes built, and they can't find people to frame. We're finding people that, have we ever seen anything like this, in your opinion?
No, and I think I was at a presentation last week with the previous Department of Commerce Director, Jeff Sayer, and he considered this a war on talent, and that all of us, employers, College of Western Idaho, we all have to come together to figure out how to get the best, most talented workforce attracted into the state, and then keep those folks in those jobs.
Yeah, he's a buttoned-up guy.
Yeah.
We've had him on a few times.
Yeah.
I'd pick you over him.
Oh, thank you. Very kind. I would say one of the things we do here at College of Western Idaho, besides the short-term training, we can also help employers with some of those talent needs. Tools like Apprenticeship Idaho. We can do internships, externships. We also can help them.
Now, what's an externship?
An externship is when, mostly in our medical programs, when students go out, they learn a skill, and then they go into the clinics and maybe work for 40, 60, 100 hours in that site. Kind of like student teaching in a teacher education program.
Sure. I remember that well back in the 90s for myself.
Oh, nice.
So let's talk about short-term education.
Okay.
How does that work, and what are we talking about as far as a period of time where someone could come in, go through the process, learn a skill, and then start making money doing it?
I'll use our nursing assistant program because that's a program we run about 900 students through a year, and that's a 3-month program where a student comes in, no skills, no base skills for being a nursing assistant. After 3 months of classroom work, then they go out into the field, they do an externship in a facility, typically a long-term health care facility, and then they are ready to work in that facility as a nursing assistant. And we have right now, easily 100 job postings just through College of Western Idaho to place those students in.
Boy, that's amazing when you think about it. Obviously, the winter, thankfully, wasn't as bad as it was last year. But, the drain on talent when it comes to heating and air conditioning, HVAC stuff. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have a 4-year apprenticeship program. It is the Department of Building Safety Journeyman Apprenticeship. It's 4 years, and the students, basically they work all day. So thank goodness we have them out in the field doing that good HVAC, electrical, plumbing work. And then they come to us in the evenings and learn skills and work in their labs to hone those competencies that they've worked on the job during the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you see with the massive amount of building, that's always going to be a good, steady source of employment. Finally, anything else, when we go to high schools and some colleges, they say our challenge is to build and give students skills for jobs that may not exist, and what a intimidating place to be in education.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to be the ones that are innovating and looking ahead to which programming we should be bringing in.
Right.
And that is one of the things we try to do here at College of Western Idaho is look ahead, work with our four-year partners, and figure out what degrees, kind of that follow the puck idea.
Right.
What should we be looking out towards in the future in our programming? Right now we do have a gaming, an associate's degree in gaming, so we're looking forward to that for students. We also, in one of our technical programs, have FANUC robots, so we're really trying to beef up our robotics in that manufacturing sector. So we're trying to stay with the times.
Sure.
Sometimes that equipment's expensive, but we're
Right.
trying to get there.
I'm with you. Well, Christy, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be a part of your day here at the College of Western Idaho. Kevin Miller in the morning. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Do want to thank or congratulate Brenda and Rania for winning the Family or Friend 4-pack to the Boise Music Festival. They are our sponsor today for Thank You Thursday. Remember, Boise Music Festival, you've got Robin Thicke. You remember that Blurred Line song. Yep. He's going to be here along with 50 local bands. And, props to my friends, Patriot Ray and Ray Kuhn. Ray Kuhn Jr. does some instructing here. Our friend Steve Ackerman does as well. Ray Kuhn in the plumbing program. And his son is usually one of the 50 local bands that appear. And when we talk about living the dream, it's great that we have Parmalee and Granger Smith and Mr. Thicke who have all lived their dream. And they're at a certain level, but there's a magic, right? Maybe for you, it's going to the Boise Hawks, or maybe it's watching the Steelheads, where you see these young people living their dream at such an incubation stage, right? And for me, as I stumble around, and those of you that have seen me in such places as the Fred Meyer or the Winco, that's my permanent state. However, as I stumble around the Boise Music Festival, which is a cool event that we have here, you don't have to go places. You can just go to Expo Idaho, free parking, conveniently located, and you go in and hang out. But seeing the young people and their passion, right? That's the cool thing for me. So over 50 local bands, over 45 food vendors at the Boise Music Festival. It is a lot to accomplish. So keep it here for your chance to win at 580-5436, 580-KIDO coming up next hour. Big news out of the state of California. It's funny, I was listening to this last night during the Sean Hannity show, where you have this person that has, how should we put this, that has terrorized the state. It's almost like a real-life Dexter, but it's a break into one of the most worst unsolved murder sprees in American history. Maybe you've heard of this story, the Golden State Killer. Well, the alleged Golden State Killer suspect who terrorized California for decades, apparently he's been caught thanks to technology, thanks to DNA.
I'm shocked.
Neighbors reacting to the news that former police officer, 72-year-old Joseph James D'Angelo, is suspected of being an elusive serial killer, who police say terrorized California in the 70s and 80s, committing at least 12 homicides, 45 rapes, and dozens of burglaries.
It's kind of crazy, really, because I live right behind him and have my entire life, since I was a little kid.
Authorities say D'Angelo is the Golden State Killer, also dubbed the original Night Stalker. He wasn't considered a suspect in the case until 6 days ago. That's when police made a major breakthrough using DNA.
Is it me or are the reporters getting younger? Anyway, the Golden State Killer possibly caught. And if you've lived in California for years, or if you've lived in Idaho for years, or the West, you might have heard of the original Night Stalker. And like I said, it's almost like a scene out of Dexter, where if this is true, well, how would someone avoid, if they're guilty of all these crimes, avoid getting caught? Well, they would know the intricacies of police work. They would know about DNA. They would know about fingerprints. They would know about what the police look for, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that coming up at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's get you to traffic and weather. And coming up, we'll talk to our next guest from College of Western Idaho at about 7:05. Kevin Miller in the morning here at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Not only are we talking about this alleged Golden State Killer, but here's another one that is And I'll tell you, it's very scary when we're talking about the safety of food. And people are talking about what the government does, what the government doesn't do. I don't think anyone is a libertarian when it comes to food safety. Now, some people will say, oh, Kevin Miller, the government is evil. It's horrible. It's the worst ever. Oh, is it? Oh, is it? Yeah. The government, and boy, I know Pat from Middleton's going, oh, there's liberal Kevin. No, think about this, though. When we're talking about the military, when we're talking about the FAA, when we're talking about the highways, basic safety, and you don't have to read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle to appreciate food safety, whether it's the FDA or the USDA. And sadly, when we're talking about this lettuce situation in E. coli, let's get the latest.
The CDC says 84 people from 19 states are now sick with E. coli. 42 have been hospitalized, including 9 who have developed a type of kidney failure. Those infected range in age from 1 to 88. More than half are female. The CDC and the Food and Drug Administration issued a warning last week against eating all romaine lettuce. They have not yet determined the source of the tainted lettuce other than it came from Yuma. They advise to not buy romaine lettuce unless you can confirm it's not from the Arizona area. Lisa Lacera, Fox News.
Yes, don't buy lettuce from Yuma, Arizona. But think of how much lettuce we consume. Now, you don't have to be a carnivore. Everybody's, turned into a salad eater. Whether it's, and I'm not happy about that, but as you know, you listen to this program, I'm not happy about a lot of things. However, think about the responsibility when we're talking about lettuce. And the reason why this hits home to me is you just eat a piece of lettuce that has E. coli and you have, problems with your kidneys. I mean, this is a dangerous situation. And, it goes to show you there should be no flinching when it comes to food inspections. I don't know if they had these chains out west. They were called Chi-Chi's. And it was a Tex-Mex restaurant. I love Chi-Chi's. In fact, you could look at my physique as that of the Chi-Chi's lunch buffet. I'm still trying to work that off day in and day out. And then you had a guy that went to that restaurant, got sick because of the food, and died. That was the end of that chain. Yeah, sad. We'll talk about, what's next with Fox News. Good morning.